Hello viewers, in this video we'll be looking at this question. Here we want to find the inverse of the following functions. We have four functions, and we will also want to find the domain and the range of the inverse function. So we are not looking for the domain and the range of the function, but of the inverse function. So let's start. Question number one. Question number one, it's f of x, it's equals to 2x minus 1, x plus 2, right? Then we have x is not equals to 2. Now, what do we know about, because in this question, we are not only interested in finding the inverse, but we want to find the inverse, then we'll find the domain of the inverse and the range of the inverse. But what do we know? We know that what? That the domain of f inverse is always the same thing as the range of f, while the range of f inverse is the same thing as the domain of f, right? Now, since we know this, then it will make sense if we can know what is actually the domain and the range of the original function. Yes. So let's start with that. Now, what is the domain of this original function? The domain of the original function is this one, x not equals to 2. So it's simply the same thing as saying minus infinity towards x not equals to minus 2, right? Yeah, x cannot be minus 2. So it's same thing as saying from minus infinity to minus 2 union minus 2 to infinity. This is the domain. Then, how do we find the range of f? Now, to find the range of f, you can sketch the graph, or to find the range of f, any rational function, you can call this one to be your y, which is 2x minus 1 over x plus 2. Then usually you solve for x in terms of y. Then you take the domain. So here, this is going to be y multiplied by x plus 2. It's equals to 2x minus 1, right? Then this is xy plus 2y. It's equals to 2x minus 1. Then we can have, we're solving for what? We're solving for x. So we have 2y, then plus 1 is going to be 2x minus what? Minus xy. So x is going to be, factor out x here, you have 2 minus y, right? It equals to 2y plus 1. So since we're solving for x, it means that x is going to be what? X is going to be 2y plus 1. Then we're solving for x, so then this will be divided by what? 2 minus y, right? So it means that here, as you can see, you take the domain now of this function will be the range. So you can see that here, y cannot be equals to what? 2, right? So it means that the range of the original function is nothing but minus infinity to what? To 2 union 2 to to infinity. Now, this is not actually what we are looking for, but it's good to have it. It will guide us. So now let's look for f inverse. Don't forget, f of x is what? Is 2x minus 1 over x plus 2. So we write this as y is equals to 2x minus 1, x plus 2. So now we are looking for inverse. So to get inverse, you interchange x and y. So this becomes x, and this is what? 2y minus 1 over what? This is now x, this is y, plus what? Plus 2. So here actually you can even see, remember here we said x is not equals to minus 2, right? X is not equals to minus 2 at this stage. So here we can now solve for what? We have to solve for y since we are looking for inverse. So this is x, y plus 2, and this is 2y minus 1. This is xy plus 2, x is equals to 2y minus 1. So in this case, we are solving for y. So we have 2x plus 1, it's equals to 2y minus what? X minus xy. So we take y as a common factor. You have 2 minus x. And this is what? 2x plus 1. So y here is just 2x plus 1 over 2x minus 1. So, but what is y in this case? Y is our f inverse of x, which is 2x plus 1 over 2x minus 1. But here we have to put a condition, right? And the condition here is that what? Because here, whatever condition you put here is actually the domain of what? F inverse. And we know this is simply x is not equals to what? 2, right? Okay, so that is it. So because you know that what the domain of F inverse is actually the range of what? F. And you can see what is the range of F? Is the whole real number except what? 2, which we can also get from here. Okay, now, then to finish this one, what do we say? Let's just put everything down. Domain of F inverse is nothing but this one, which is going to the range of F, which is the same thing as minus infinity to 2 union 2 to infinity. Why the range of F inverse is nothing but what? The domain of F. But what is the domain of F? We know the domain of F from the beginning, which is minus infinity to minus 2 union minus 2 to infinity. That's it. Question number 2. Question number 2, we are dealing with a root function, which is f of x equals to minus x squared minus 16. And here we have x is greater than equals to 4. So just the same way, let's deal with the domain of f first. The domain of f is just what we have here, which is going to be 4 close to where? To infinity. Why? To find the range of this function, I think it's good to sketch this function. This function is just something like this, right? So you can see the zeros of this. If x squared minus 16 is equals to 0, so you have x squared is 16. So x is what? X is going to be plus minus 4. So it means you're going to have this minus 4 here, and you're going to have plus 4 here. So those are your x-intercept. Now, for the y-intercept, when when x is 0, what do we get? When x is 0 here, do we have anything? If x is 0, we're going to have that what? Yeah, definitely if x is 0, we're going to have something here, which is going to be a negative number, right? So it will make sense. But here we can see that what our x is starting from where? From 4. So we don't even need this other part. So if x is starting from 4, you can see that at x equals to 4, we have this one, right? We have it at 0. So this is just going to be something going like this. And equals to 4. Is that okay? Now, but here, what do we know? We know that this function is what? This function is what is reflected across the what? Across the x axis, because we have a minus behind it, right? So because of that minus, we have to reflect the whole of this. So we have to reflect this across the x-axis. So we have something here. Am I correct? Yeah. So now what do we do? If you look at this one, so this is just the part of the graph that we have. So we don't have this side. So this is just what we have, because we are looking at this domain x greater than 4. And now if you look at this graph, you will see that the range, what will be the range? The range is simply going to be what? The range is simply going to be from minus infinity to what? From minus infinity to 0, close. Now, this is by using graphical method, but another way you can find the range is very easy. We know that what? If you have x squared minus 16, this function has an even root, so it's always greater or equals to what? 0, yes? Now, if you multiply both sides by minus, what do you have? You have minus x squared minus 16. This will be less than equals to 0. But what is this one? Remember, this is our function. So this is our y. So we're saying y is less than equals to 0, which is minus infinity to 0. Now, let's go for the main thing, which is finding the f inverse. So f of x is minus x squared minus 16. But don't forget you have a condition that x is greater or equals to 4. So uh, y is what? Minus, same thing, we put it here. We can interchange. X is this. So this is y squared minus what? Minus 16. And if we square both sides now, this will become x squared is equals to y squared minus 16. So what is y squared? Y squared is x squared plus what? Plus 16. So y is what? Now you can take square root of both sides if you want. So this is y squared is equals to square root of x squared plus what? Plus 16. But one thing we can use here is going to be absolute value of y is what? X squared plus what? 16. So now we need to know about absolute value. Remember, the condition on x is x greater than equals to 4. But at this stage, we interchange, okay, no, still at this stage, x is still greater equals to 4. At this stage, we interchange between x and y, so the condition also will change. So it means y is greater equals to 4. So it means that the y inside this absolute value is always a positive number. So we can just take the absolute, remove the absolute value. So we have this x squared plus 16. And now this means that f inverse of x, it's equals to what? X squared plus what? Plus 16. Now, also like to put a condition here. This condition here will determine the domain of x. So the condition here you will put, remember the domain of f inverse is always the same thing as the range of f. So it means here, what is the range of f? The range of f here is what? Is that x should be less than equals to what? Less than equals to 0. So this is what we have here. Okay, now what does that mean? It means that if we are looking for the domain of f inverse, the domain of f inverse is just the range of f, which is minus infinity to 0. Why the range of f inverse? We know it's just the domain of f. And what is the domain of f? We know that from the beginning, which is this one, which is just 4 to infinity. Okay. All right. So let's see now what is the next question. So let's deal with question number 3, right? So question number 3 is this function, which is f of x, it's equals to minus x minus 3 plus a 2. Now, here there is also a condition that x is what? Less than equals to 3. Now, as usual, let's find the domain of f first. Domain of f is what? Is just from minus infinity to 3 close. That is given by this. So to find the range of f, we have two ways. It's either you graph it or you just use the fact that what? We know that x minus 3, the root of this is always non-negative. So I can add 2 to both sides so that I have x minus 3 plus 2 is greater or equals to, if I add 2 on the right hand side here, I have 2. No, before we do that, I think we have a minus. So let's deal with the minus. This is always true, but there is a negative here. So I'll multiply this term by negative. So you have this one. The inequality will change. Then we can add 2 to both sides. So we have this, and this will be add 2 here. This will also be 2. So what is this? This is our function, which is our y. So it means our y is less than what? It's less than 2. So it means the range of f is actually what? From minus infinity to 2 close. And this, we can also see it if you want to graph this function. Which function is this? Just graph this function. This function. So what is this function? If you look at this function, um, this is absolute value of x minus 3, which is somewhere here, shifted to the 3 right, yes. But now you reflected across the x-axis. So this is something like this, right? Then now we'll move it 2 unit up. So 2 unit up. So this is the graph, as you can see, but here is what? 2. With this condition, x less than equals to 3. So if this is 3, x less than equals to 3, it means we're interested in the part that is less than 3. So we have to remove this right-hand part. So this is the graph. And you can also see that what is the range? The range is from minus infinity to what? To 2. Okay, now let's go to my inverse. Let's get my inverse here. I'll write the function again here with the condition. So I call this y, and this is minus x minus 3 plus 2. We interchange x and y. This becomes x, and this becomes y minus 3 plus 2 as well. Then now, the goal is to solve for y. So I can take this to be minus 2, and this is minus y minus 3, right? Okay, what next can we do? We can multiply both sides by minus, so that this is just minus x plus 2. It's equals to this one. But here, at this point, we interchange. So the condition becomes y less than equals to 3. Now, if y is less than equals to 3, it means the content inside this absolute value will always be negative, except negative or 0. So now we can put it to be negative. So this is minus x plus 2. It's equals to, then to remove the absolute value, we need another minus. So you have this one, right? Then now we can multiply both sides by minus again. So this becomes x, this becomes 2, and this becomes y minus 3. So y is nothing but x minus 2, then plus 3, right? Okay. I think there's something here. This is, if you multiply by minus, this will go, this will go. Yes, I think I'm correct. Let's go. So it means that y, it's equals to x plus what? Plus 1. And that means that what? Our f inverse of x is nothing but x plus 1. Okay, now I need to put something here, right? So what will be the condition on x here? Remember, we know that the domain of f inverse is going to be the range of what? The range of f. So it means the range of f is just going to be x less than equals to what? 2, which is, we can see from here. So in other words, the domain of f is the range of f, which is the same thing as minus infinity to 2 close. And here we can see that what? The range of f inverse is the domain of f. And we saw the domain of f from the beginning, which is just from minus infinity to 3. Then finally, number 4. Number 4 is what? Is f of x, it's equals to minus x squared minus 4x plus 1 with a condition that x is less than or equals to 2. Now, this same way, I'll just keep this one. Let me keep the domain here is from minus infinity to minus 2 close. Now, to find the range of this function, yes, we can do it because uh, this is uh, this is a quadratic function. So it's going to be open down, right? Is it open down? Yes, open down. Why? Because our a here, you can see a to be minus 1, b is minus 4, and c is 1. So a is negative, so you have an open, 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 up, open, down. So what is h? To find the vertex, we use this formula. So this is minus, what is b? Minus 4 over 2 times a, which is minus 1. And this is going to be 4 over what? Minus 2, which is going to be uh, just going to be 2, right? Now this is minus, minus will go, and a is minus, so I think it's going to be minus 2, right? So, and what will be k? K is just going to be f of h, which is f of minus 2. And this is more like a revision of 0, 0, 1. So this is going to be minus, this is going to be 4, and this will be plus 8, and this will be plus 1, right? And so this is minus 4, so this is going to be 5. Is that okay? So the vertex for this function is what? Is hk, which is minus 2 and 5. So if you want to have an idea of how the graph look like, it's just something like this at minus 2 and 5 here, right? So you have something like this. No, 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 not something like this. It's going to be open down. Yes. So, but here we have a condition that x is greater equals less than equals to 2. So if x is less than equals to 2, it means we're only interested in this part. So all this part will have to remove it. So this is just the graph, and you can see it is what? It is 1 to 1. From here, it is clear that the range of f, you don't have to do all of this diagram. You can just get it from the k. The range is just from minus infinity to where? To 5 close. Now, straight to the f inverse, f of x, it's equals to this for x plus 1, x is less than minus 2. Now I write it as y is equals to minus x squared minus 4 plus 1. And now we interchange, so I have x is equals to minus y squared minus 4y plus 1. I also interchange the condition on x to become a condition on y. Now I would like to use completing the square on y, but to use completing the square, I need the coefficient of y squared to be 1. So I will multiply by negative. So here becomes negative x, and here will become this y squared plus 4y minus 1. So here now we'll use completing the square. This is 4y plus 4 minus 4, then minus 1. So the half of the coefficient of 4 is 2. The square of it is 4. You remove it again. Then this minus 1 is here. Now, if you look at these three terms, you have this. This three term is nothing but y plus what? Plus 2 all square. Then this 2 will give us minus 5. Okay, now we have minus x minus 5 plus 5 now. It's equals to y plus 2 squared. And we can take the square root of both sides. So we have square root of minus x plus 5 is going to be the absolute value of y plus 2. Now, with the absolute value of y plus 2, look at the condition on y is less than equals to 2. So it means whatever you have here is always going to be negative or 0. For example, if you take negative 3, negative 3 plus 2 is still negative number, right? So it's going to be more times negative or 0 when y is minus 2. Now remove this. To remove absolute value, you have to put a minus. So we have this and we have this one, right? So it means that what is y? Forget the equality here. So we have minus here, minus x plus 5 is just going to be y plus 2. So finally, y will be minus, no, there is a minus here, minus x plus 5, then minus 2. So it means that f inverse of x is nothing but minus x plus 5 minus 2. Now this is it. So I need a condition on x, and what should be that condition? The condition on x should come from the range of f. You can see the range of f is what? Is less than 5, so it means that x has to be less than equals to 5, which also makes sense because if you don't have this condition, then you might have an imaginary number in here. So to finish, what is the domain of f? Domain of f inverse is what? It's simply the range of f, which is minus infinity to 5, while the range of f inverse is the domain of f, which is this one we said is this the range of f, which is minus infinity to 5. And this is the domain of f, which is actually what was given to us from the beginning, which is minus infinity to minus 2. So I hope this video is clear. So if you are new to my channel, so kindly subscribe and turn on your notification so that you can receive in message whenever I upload new videos. So if you have any question, just put it in the comment and like and share with your friends as well. Thank you for watching.